Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're going into the conclusion of today's slightly shorter than usual episode of Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation. So before we jump back into the jungle exploration, let's talk about spell effects. So if the spell has a radius, if the effect has a radius or a diameter, we'll use a token because I can set those manually, right? And we can have a little aura of around them, like Fireball, for example.
Sure.
But if the spell doesn't have something like that, like if it says choose a point within whatever, what's intended in the book, I checked in the Dungeon Master's Guide, is that you pick an intersection of squares. So the point you're choosing in the case of Call Lightning is 4 squares interconnected with a point in the middle of them. That's what it says in the book.
Okay, cool.
Great.
That's the intent of those rules. So we'll do that for now, and if there's like edge cases or whatever, we'll do what we always do, and we'll work it up like humans and figure out what we want to do.
Also, hilariously, regardless of which way you ran it in the previous combat, the results would have all been the same.
You got it.
Because we only ever hit 2 things at once,
Exactly.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, it's more important to me, I think, of being consistent than getting it exactly right every time. Like,
Well, yeah, and like make a ruling, stick to
yeah.
it.
So for call lightning, what it'll do is you'll pick 4 squares that are in a block and hit all 4 of those. Also, because it's a cylinder, I think you can hit things. If we ever get into a situation where there's things that are on top of each other, Call Lightning would be really good for fighting those goblin
Oh my
stacks.
god, the goblins?
Because
Yeah.
I would definitely allow you to hit all
Yeah,
the
the top
goblins in the
goblin.
stack going down because it's explicitly like a top-down attack. But anyway, so that's a thought. So we've got a Chult.
By the
to
way,
explore.
Call Lightning, really cool.
Yeah, it is a really cool spell. I actually like a lot of those, and someone in chat noticed this. A lot of the spells, kind of from here forward, are those like you concentrate, but every turn you get to do something. And the combo of Call Lightning and Spiritual Weapon means that a cleric can just stand at the back line and just be like, ha ha ha, I'm starcrafting this fight.
Cackling maniacally.
Yeah, just whipping people and
Destroy.
shooting lightning. Yeah. Dave,
Yeah,
what's that?
it
There's a
makes
warlock.
that its own
There's a
action.
warlock spell like that, right? Where you like are the emperor basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
with Witch
the
Bolt.
the Witch Bolt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you channel lightning into the same target.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It is. Yeah.
It's a brand new day.
It is a brand new day. So we already know the weather, and I have some new macros that I'm excited to test out.
yeah.
Chat, you'll get to see them. The players won't. But I've got a wayfinding and an encounter macro, so I'm going to use those today. But it is raining, first of all. It has stopped storming. The sudden lightning and thunderstorm last night kind of dissipated the rest of the clouds. It's still raining, but lightly. So it's an average day in Vancouver, and and the plan is to head up to the river, and then from there you can get on your canoe and you can just fucking rip it, just high speed jungle boat action. So this is the last overland one.
The last slow day. Okay, yeah. So that we actually will be at the river in this next.
Yes, tonight you will arrive at the river. As it empties out into the
At the slightly wetter part of the basin that we
Right.
can use the canoe in.
Well, it's like you have land here and you have water here, both at 100%, and you're just slowly moving the meter. Like, is this more ground than water? Oh no, more water than ground. Here we go. So go ahead and roll whatever needs rolling. If there's a blessing in the morning. Okay.
So blessed.
Titia wasted all of his energy yesterday.
So
Yeah, so
blessed.
she's like, I'm tired.
Okay.
It's
Let me
okay.
see.
So Little Fox and Malik are working together to grant advantage on this roll.
Yep.
Little Fox has a skill bonus of 6 plus 1, so I'm gonna put in a
Yep,
7.
6
here.
plus 1, total of 7.
You're traveling at normal pace.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Okay.
We don't need to book it today.
And you're traveling through swamp. And there's my roll.
You
Okay.
have like a thing with drop downs for all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I have drop downs now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I just select with the terrain. I select whether it's advantage or disadvantage, all that thing, and then it just gives me the final roll.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, and then I can also do my little encounter one here. There we go.
Oh, good.
I roll that every day.
Oh, right. No, it's
matter.
not.
Yep.
It's not that you rolled an encounter. That is a thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna
bad
give y'all
ideas.
an opportunity because you are ready. You are ready as hell for this shit. Malik especially, but Malik, because you explicitly said you were like on guard. Malik and Arcturus both begin noticing through the rain and the slightly clearer view. You're entering another one of these bone fields. You're starting to see like skulls, rib cages amidst the swamp. What are you gonna do? You notice this like pretty early on that the sort of necromantic terrain continues.
Should we
So
scout
what's
around? Oh, sorry.
yeah, like what's the option here? Would it be like changing our minds and moving into a different hex, or
I think it's just like we did before when you discovered the lizard stuff. I gave you a chance to re-roll your survival check to
We could, like, get
redo your
around it.
path.
Mm.
Continuing, intending to continue into the same hex.
But yeah, to like find a different to reroute and need to like make an
Yeah, it's a
extra roll.
10-mile square, so or like hex.
yeah, I definitely think like Malik said last time that it wasn't necessarily something that someone was controlling. It was just an effect. So there's no point in like, I don't know. Like, I wonder if we would think that if we activated the whatever necromantic energy fought the skeletons, if they wouldn't be there to hassle somebody else.
Right, because then Arcturus would view that as like the right thing to do, right? Because
Yeah.
we can fight these things.
Is
so
there
we
a way
should.
to make a roll to like know if like I know enough about?
Yeah. No, this is good. Okay. Make a religion check.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
17.
Do you have any like spells, or we're gonna go into a weird rules place here where instead of being like, okay, let's fight another fight with some skeletons that no one really wants to do. Do you have any spells to like consecrate the terrain or anything like that? Do you have any magic that'll do that?
Consecrating terrain. I have dispel magic.
Okay. All right. That might work. Yeah.
Dispel magic seems like a legit
Yes,
approach
totally.
here.
Yeah, because I mean it says creature, object, or magical effect.
Magical effect. Yeah. I think dispel magic is fair. Yeah.
Okay. So the DC equals 10 plus the spell's level, and I'm using level 3.
No, it's the level of the spell you're trying to get rid of.
Okay.
What's
so any
rate?
spell of
What's
third level or lower ends.
okay,
Animate
what
Dead
level-
is level 3.
Animate
Yeah.
Dead is level 3. Okay, so
Animate Dead is level 3.
yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a DC. It's not Animate Dead, but I'll make a DC for make the check using your spellcasting ability. Let's call it DC
Make an
14.
ability using your spellcasting ability, which for me is wisdom.
Wisdom.
So make
Dave,
a
you
wisdom.
you had a question?
Yeah. Weird question.
Yeah.
I know she's casting it. Is there any way I can help her by empowering this spell cast? Because we're kind of half using this wrong anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's no way in D&D to help someone cast a spell.
No, there isn't. But we're also doing like a weird.
It's
like,
also a weird
we're
terrain-based
trying.
thing
We're
anyway.
trying something else, and we're going into weird, uncharted, make it up as you go along
Do
territory.
you have any spells that could
Here's it's not about
remove
spells,
magical
Malik. It's not about spells. Yes, you could help because you understand how magic like works. But Malik, if you can make like a religion check to understand the magical underpinnings of the ritual, you could probably like counter chant or whatever like to do that. Yeah, I
I
think
will give it a shot.
yeah. Let's call it like a DC 11 religion check.
And we're doing this like a link test style where
Yes.
Malik succeeding gives a
Okay.
+1.
So yeah, Arcturus, tell me. So Malik, you offer role play that a little for me because I'm really curious. So you offer to help, and then Arcturus teaches you something about how to participate in this dispelling ritual according to Astitia's protocols. What does that look like? So you're all standing around. Malik and Arcturus are looking nervously at the bones that are around you.
Yeah, I think the point first is that we have an argument about whether or not we should just go around, and Arcturus insists that if there's a way to make sure that this doesn't hurt anybody else, then like he has to do it. Like,
do the thing.
And so we like trek forward anyway, and then like very carefully trying not to like trigger the thing that makes the zombies come up to fight. Like we like maybe on the very edge of the field or something. I would like I feel like there's some kind of like because it's like feeling out what the necromantic magic wants to do and like what it's being like told to do, and then being like like no don't do that. And I feel like a lot of it is for Arcturus this. Like he's talking to you. He's explaining to you, like, you know, because of where his magic is based, like a lot of it is feeling out how the water is like embodying the necromancy, and like using the moisture of the swamp and how it like goes like deep underneath and like touches all of the like skeleton parts and stuff to keep them from being able to gather together. So it's and you have spells where like chromatic orb where you can use like water or whatever instead of fire.
Yeah. But I also wanted to use this as an opportunity to be like, all right, yes, I'll help you. I still think it's best that we just move on, but I need to trust you with these things. You know, you're right. Sometimes we should help these people. I don't know why I'm starting to care less.
It's
just destroying everything that needs to be destroyed feels like
it's not whether or not you destroy things that require destruction. It's whether they require destruction in the first place, Malik. I understand that these jungles are dangerous, but just as we have ventured into them, meaning no one any ill will, so too the creatures here are not automatically trying to destroy and murder. People can live in dangerous places and not need to kill everyone that comes upon them, and we must do the same, even if it is more dangerous to ourselves.
I'm not sure I agree entirely, but if we're going to make this work, we're going to continue working together to solve this thing, then I'll try
Answer
my
me
best.
this, Malik.
Can
you answer me one quick question?
Wait.
Why
yes.
did you come here to end the death curse? What was the point of it?
That's a big question with a long answer, which I don't think we have time for right now, but I will be happy to tell you eventually.
Are you doing it just for money? Because it was a task that someone set in front of you? Or are you doing it because maybe it's the right thing to do? There are people who have been cursed with this death curse who are not good people. And we save them anyway.
There was never any doubt I was doing it for other people. I'd like to think that anyway, but you can come off so preachy sometimes.
I am
like
a cleric.
Even though
It's true.
I agree with you, but you make it hard to want to sometimes. Do you understand that? Sometimes when you, I guess it's because things work differently for where you are, but it's fine. We can work together on this.
We should talk about this at the next campfire. This is an undead swamp. We should probably do something about that.
Yeah, like the two
right?
of them are a little off to the side, but yeah, Ishi's like, guys,
guys,
I'm worried. Yeah, I like that. It's interesting too because I think that's very much like a both of you mark inspiration. I think it's very much like a thing, right? That like I agree with you, but the way that you phrase your point makes me be like, oh, I hate that I agree with you. Shut up. Also, yeah, like Malik, it can be hard, I think, not to look at the rest of the party as like your belongings in a way. Like, no, use your mind. You do what I say, and I have to protect you, and like use your power to keep other people and other things away from them and from yourself. Yeah. So the two of you have this moment, like kind of out in the swamp, and then set to dispelling the effects of the undead.
Yeah. And while you're working on the water itself, I'm kind of enchanting and trying to purify the like silt and the dirt and the sand all collected in the pools, because that's where my like domain mastery really is. So I think we work together and I infuse. I'm happy to say I spend like a sorcery point, 2 sorcery points to like help channel, because that's raw magic power. It's not even spell.
I think if you spell you spend a sorcery point, and if
And I'll
Arcturus uses
spend
the spell,
slot, yeah.
yeah. So make a wisdom check, like wisdom ability check with advantage. Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, you're able to put to rest the skeletons before they raise, and you can pass through this area safely.
Rad.
Cool stuff. All right.
Much better than fight 12 skeletons again.
Exactly. There would have been 13 this time.
They're skeleton.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Okay. Cool. All right. So you continue, and the afternoon and the night.
Oh,
pass
sorry. I
by.
got an 18, and Dave got a 19 on his religion check to help me.
And that evening, you reach the admittedly like pretty tame kind of end of the river Ocean Star.
Because it just like kind of feeds out into the basin, right?
Yeah,
So-
and like I said, it's very, very gradual in that the land gets murkier and murkier and murkier until you get to a point where you're like, okay, we need to get in the canoe instead of carrying the canoe.
Yeah, now it's water.
Now it's water. It's water enough. Like I guarantee, like the first few hours of the next day, the oar, you have to hold it kind of sideways or it touches the
'cause
bottom.
it
And like when you get in, the
gets in the
canoe
mud.
is like almost on the ground.
Like while it's like dragging through the mug, is the one time when Arcturus isn't feeling seasick from
It
emotion.
actually gets
So
wobblier and wobblier as you go.
it's just like, this is fine. I could see why you guys like boats. And then like there's a bit where you can finally get the oar like to full pull, and then I'm like, oh, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, and so the way it works is that this is the like source of the river, but instead of coming from a mountain spring and coming downhill, this travels downhill from the plateau basin, because we know that Imbala and Aldani, like you've been going kind of uphill towards this area. Again, on the imaginary topographical map of Chult, this is a higher area. And it, instead of flowing down and getting bigger, it picks up all these tributaries from the jungle around it and then
so
gets
it's all
bigger
these
as it
little
goes.
streams.
Yeah, all the streams kind of
combining.
collect. Yeah, because there's like another higher up area over where Firefinger is, and then down here. So you're in a valley, really, heading down this way. Great. So the next day, you're going to be able to travel 3 hexes every
All
day.
right. And this was we can eat the last of the.
Oh yeah, we ate the last of the
That was
fish last
That was last night.
night. Yeah.
So if someone's going, we're still on nighttime. If someone's going to go, somebody who isn't
yeah.
Arcturus, or somebody who isn't Malik or Little Fox.
If we're in a like river, I can fish.
Yeah, go ahead.
21.
Nice. Okay.
And another 8 pounds fish.
Nice. All
So
right.
Damn, Arcturus.
We used some when we were back with the dwarf zombies. Is that what you're saying?
You found 8.
And we used 4 the
You
first
used
night.
4.
And
And then, this is actually only the second night, right?
Yeah, no, like we
so
have
actually
4
none,
left,
none of
so-
that needed to happen. But
Well,
you could go
now we
anyway.
have
Now you have
8.
another
Now we
8.
have
Yeah,
another
you have,
8.
so
So
you
we
have
eat
tomorrow
the
and the
last
next
of ours, and then we have
load them in the boat.
which
Uh,
I can bookkeep on my sheet.
Okay.
I already have it.
Or you have it? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, it is raining, and you can set out to the north. So there's a +3 for that next, because that was your intended D4 roll there, right?
Yeah, that was supposed to be for the guidance because we hadn't.
All right.
Yeah.
So standard skill bonus of 9, normal pace, unless you want to risk fast pace.
Well, how many
Would
would
you
that
like to
be?
know the difference?
How far do we
Yes.
go with a fast pace?
Fast pace on this boat, because it does.
Because we're currently doing 3.
Yeah, I think you'll do 5. Let me
Oh!
let me double check. So travel distance.
Asks you to punch him
If you
so
move
that
at a
he'll
fast,
keep
oh
moving.
okay. If you move at a fast pace, we roll a d4. You have a 50-50 chance of moving 1 more hex. But you take a penalty to your perception scores while you're traveling. It's only 1
Yeah.
extra hex.
Yeah, we're fine going 3 at a time.
It'll end up being the same number of hexes in terms of getting back anyway. Probably by the end of it. Like
So let's just do that. All right. So standard, you got advantage on the wayfinding. You get a skill bonus of 9.
I'm just imagining that if we went faster, Arcturus would be like, "Please, just punch me so I can sleep through this, please."
Yeah, we just have to
Please,
like
dear God, knock me unconscious.
And
knock you unconscious.
the only, let me just check the only DC because I'm using my macro for the first time here. So the only DC difference is, let's see, one difficulty is, here we go, 15 for jungle, mountain, river, swamp, and wasteland. Okay, everything except coasts and lakes. Okay, here goes that. Okay, all right. And then we set out on the river. Oh yeah, I should give you experience for consecrating that terrain, because you could have ended up fighting them, but you didn't. So instead, everybody gets 162 experience.
Okay.
That's pretty good value.
That is pretty good value. Yeah.
One spell slot, 160.
We should just
162?
hang out in this basin and grind skeletons until we hit level 6.
Right, of course.
Do you
So,
say
yeah.
162? Okay.
Yeah, 162.
162.
Okay. All right, and let's see if you have any encounters during the day. Okay. Okay, cool. So, all right. So you head off north up the river, and there's rain, but there's no difficulty in seeing. And as night falls that night, you're talking, your voices ahead of you. There's a bend in the river, and you hear someone say, "All right, boys, we're almost there. Put your back into it." And there's like splashing.
I think the first thing I do is I look at Malik and I'm like I make the eyes like, don't just throw fireball at these people.
And and we hear like, good, that's it. I love the rain, and like we can hear this one person talking, and then someone else is like, Lauren, quiet. We don't need you inspiring us all day. And then Lauren is like, pish. Keeping morale up is part of my job. And then you see around the bend, you see a canoe, and in it, standing with like one foot, like Captain Morgan style on the front, is a man in full plate armor. He's got his helmet off, and he has like a blue like cape, big sword at his hip.
What a nerd.
And he's standing there like looking out. In the boat with him, there is an elven woman, a high elf woman in long red and gold robes with a long staff with like a moon on the end of it. And there's a dwarf sitting, clutching the end of the canoe, just like practically green, just kind of like.
I feel that hard.
Oh god. And then the rest of the boat, is filled with what look like Chultan scouts or like hirelings, and they're rowing the boat. And the man, Lauren, Sir Lauren, in fact, the man at the other boat, he's like, ho there, yes, you in the canoe. As you like come around the corner, he like waves.
Oh god, it's some adventurers.
Hello.
Oh yes, hello.
Hello. Oh god.
I like make the I make a I'm going to sit up and like greet people. I'm so excited to see people, and like the quick like motion makes me like, oh.
Yeah.
And so like the whole like greeting people thing is like forgotten.
I guess somebody suggested that there's like a lovable but annoying goblin in the back of the boat. Hey guys, what are you doing?
Wow, I feel targeted.
Yeah, seriously, so called out right now.
I'm not lovable and annoying. I'm brave and awesome.
All right, so let me just I gotta come up with a name for the dwarf. So
Steve.
Carlos.
Queasy Carlos. Distant
Puking
cousin to
Carlos.
Smirking Carlos.
If it's Carlos, I'm going to fireball the boat. So don't do it.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, that's
No-
going to
no
be the
smirk.
If you look like you're gonna firebolt the boat, I am going to smack you in the head with my hammer.
All right.
Okay.
Wow, that's
but
brutal.
Adam does that. That's how
Such
it's going to be.
violence.
I'm going to take the hammer to the face.
Listen, if I'm gonna use smirking Carlos, I'm gonna use him properly, not just as a random boat guy. All right.
Yeah.
So this, Sir Lauren, he looks and he says, he's like, oh there, you in the canoe.
Yes. Hello.
And
takes
as
like
you start coming towards each other, he turns around. He's like, "Ho there, boys! Ho there! Back a ways, full astern." And the canoe, like the Chultans look at him like he doesn't. What is he even talking about? Like they slow the canoe down.
This
And
man does not know about boats.
no, he doesn't. But the two of you kind of like drift side by side. You're about like, I don't know, 30 feet apart. And Lauren says, "Oh, well, look at you, a tough bunch. But I think you're going the wrong direction. The jungle's that way." And he points at the way you just came.
Yes, we've been there.
And he takes a start. And he's like, "Oh my, is that a kobold?"
I like
And
under my hat, like
the woman in the boat is just like, "It's okay, Lauren, calm down." And he nods and he says, "Yes, sagely advice, Amina. Thank you." And she just rolls her eyes at him, and he says,
If you're going up the river, you should prepare. I don't know if any of you have any spells against undead, but there are quite a few in the basin, and you'll need to have some toll money for the lobstermen.
when you say that,
It's just like increasingly bizarre
Yeah.
series of requirements.
and he says, he says to you, he says, I have nothing to fear, nor my companions from the walking dead. I am Sir Lauren of Lathander, and may his light shine ever down upon us. And he like looks up and he says, "Tell me, does it ever stop raining in this filthy continent?"
No.
And you said something about lobster men. Fascinating. Amina, make a note in the log. Lobster men. And Amina's just like, "Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir."
Amina just
She
rolling
should
her
mention the
eyes,
grind.
writes, "Stupid guy."
Yeah, exactly.
She should talk about the grind.
Who's Lathander?
Lathander is the god of like the sun and the god of light.
Oh,
I don't
also,
like-
grungs. I don't know if you've met any grungs yet, but they're like little frogs. They shoot darts and bows and stuff, and they're very dangerous. But if you give them something shiny, they might leave you alone. They did for us anyway.
Fascinating. Grungs, you say?
Yes, grungs.
He shakes his head. He's like, "I've seen such wonders since I came here. Now tell me, do you know anything about what happened to that camp back there?"
Which one?
Yes, actually, we
Well, one of them we know, and then the other one.
He says, "Well, we only just saw the one, a day or so back. Old log-looking thing. I personally would have built it of stone. You see, much stronger."
Is that Camp Vengeance? Is he talking about Vengeance?
Right, Camp Righteous. Oh yeah, Camp Vengeance. You're right.
He would be talking about vengeance if he's talking about like a log fort.
And a day back, yeah.
yes, we've already saved all the people who were there. Don't worry,
Saved.
quest completed.
And
I guess
and he
that's one
says,
way to put it.
yeah, he says to you, "Ah, good. So you're wandering the jungle like us, brave venturers, seeking glory in the name of goodness, huh?"
I don't know. I think we're a little bit more tired than you.
And he looks at you and he says, Oh, poor pitiful creature. Buck up, kobold. Everything will be fine."
Wait, are you calling me pitiable because I'm tired or because I'm a kobold?
The fascinating thing about language is it has so many meanings. But I will say this. Let this upon you be a blessing, my friends and fellow quaestors. As
I
they
could-
say in the Church of Lathander, the sun will come up tomorrow. Never forget.
We've been thoroughly
The
blessed.
sun will come up tomorrow.
Right. And he looks at you, Malik, and he says, "Yes, praise indeed the sun upon its rising. Even here in the darkness of the jungle, we find Lathander's light." And he says, you wouldn't be interested in any cooperation, would you? We could share notes. We could
Yes.
tell stories of the jungle and our heroism therein.
I was actually going to ask something.
And
along those
so
lines.
behind him, Amina is looking at like Little Fox or Ishi, and being like, "You don't want to do that. Run! It's not too late for you."
Yeah, and Little Fox just like keeps rowing
Mm-hmm.
as the
Wait.
current, is carrying us down.
Hold on.
I just,
They might have notes on possible leads for us to to examine. We can
Yeah,
try.
have you heard of Ross and C? Yelling backwards.
And he says, Ross? I don't know anyone named Ross. No. Does he?
No.
Is he own a shop in Port Nyanzaru?
No.
Fascinating place, that. Really
If we're
lovely what
going
the
to
Chultans are
talk, we
doing
should
with it.
stop yelling from boat to boat and like pull over.
Yes, that's what I was saying. We should all look. And he points over the shore. Over there, there's a dry bit.
Are we gonna camp with these nerds?
Yes.
I mean, isn't it just like early in the morning? Don't we still have?
No, this is night. Night is starting to fall.
Oh,
you
sure.
could
Yeah,
you
let's
could
camp,
press
let's camp
on,
with these
but
nerds. Let's camp with these nerds.
Oh god. Okay.
Strength and numbers. Come on, we got this.
If it's the very end of the day, then yeah, we should totally camp with these nerds.
okay. So you pull your boats alongside and slowly make your way up to the thing, and the dwarf not even like steps over, but just rolls over the edge of the boat, falls into the mud, gags and retches a little bit, and you can hear him mumbling like, oh, praise Moradin, oh gods, and he's like on his hands and knees like like barfing in the mud.
And I think that for like once, Arcturus feels good that he's not the most like seasick person.
Yeah,
So-
and the mage, the elven mage, Amina is like patting him, and she's like, there, Grumbuck, it'll be okay. And he's just like, boats.
I don't like boats either.
So as soon as you pull the boats up, Sir Lauren starts giving orders to their hirelings. So he's like, all right, men, chop, set up camp now. You two, build a fire. You, set up the tents. And everybody starts like doing that. And Lauren, with a sweep of his cape, he turns back to you and he says, right then, well, who's the captain of your expedition? Which among
It's
you is...
definitely me.
And he looks down. Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Ishi.
I also swoosh my cape
Oh,
like
yeah.
he did. Can I get a
Advantage?
bonus
Yes.
for that?
Take advantage.
Yeah.
Cape
for sure.
swishing.
Yeah.
Speaking this guy's language.
Yeah. 16.
Okay.
Why am I not seeing?
Yeah,
this?
I don't see it.
Oh.
You're in another. There it is.
Oh,
There
there
it
it
is.
is.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. So he turns and you like swish the cape, and he says, "Aha, my little friend! I should have known. You wear yourself like a mighty warrior. And wait." And he looks at you. And he says, "Is that the crest of Herschel von Saberberg you wear upon your chest?"
Why? Yes, indeed.
Of course.
It is the crest of Herschel von Saberberg. I am the great Ishi Snaggletooth, kobold duelist. And Herschel von Saberberg was finally felled in a duel with me in the back alleys of Chult, Port Nyanzaru behind the... It's not really important where it was,
I
but
killed
I
him
got
in the back
cape.
alleys of America.
Yeah.
So he looks at you like there's a stern look on his face, like a sort of seriousness comes over you, and he says, "Does von Saberberg yet live?"
Oh, no, he doesn't.
And he looks up at the rainy sky, and like tears of rain streak down his face, and he says, "Then the heavens have gained themselves a mighty warrior this day, and the jungles as well, I think. Besting von Saberberg is no mean feat, certainly for one as small as you." And he puts his helmet down, and he like puts his hand on his chest and bows to you, and he says, "Clearly I am in the presence of a warrior of some repute. Tell me your name, brave creature."
I already did. My name is Ishi Snaggletooth,
And so
kobold duelist.
and so he says, "Hear me, O Lathander. I am in the presence of Ishi Snaggletooth, glorious warrior. May your light shine down upon her, bright and brilliant, directly into her eyes and upon her body with light.
Please, not the eyes.
May she
She's a
see
little
you
bit
always glowing from above, pure and brilliant."
There's this moment where it's like it's the light god and that's not super great for me, but Ishi is like eating it up. Like this is the kind of attention she like wants, the kind of like you're a hero, be a hero kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and so she's like, "May she never dwell in darkness or even shadow or light that is dim of any sort. Only
may
pure light
I
from you."
interrupt your prayer for
And
just
he's-
a brief moment?
He stops. He turns to you and he says, "Yes, of course.
I should introduce you to everyone else while we're here.
Yes, our companions, please."
Yes,
He turns.
yes. This is Arcturus. cleric of Istigia.
Hold on. I'm gonna make a religion check for this guy.
He probably has no idea who Istitia is.
And
Yeah.
he looks at you and says, "Istitia? How exotic! Is it a
Marvelous.
Chultan god?
No,
I've never seen a blue Chultan before. Where are you from, Arcturus?"
The primordial plane of water. It's not of this realm.
And he looks at you. The primordial plane of is that near Neverwinter?
No.
No, I suppose it wouldn't be. Fascinating. And you're a cleric of this Istitia, you say. And he jokingly, like kind of like theatrically puts his hand on his sword and he says, "Istitia is not a bad god, a naughty sort of god, is it?" Because
Istitia-
Lathander doesn't like gods like that very much.
Istitia doesn't really care one way or another what anyone does at all.
And he takes the hand of his sword. He says, "A god of apathy. You must walk a very lonely road, Arcturus. For I hear the voice of my god in all things, his light shining in a puddle."
Allow me to continue the introductions.
Yes,
I
yes,
say,
of
like, trying to
course.
interrupt his monologue.
Yeah.
This is Malik, very powerful wizard of some kind. I'm not.
Ah, a wizard. We have one of those too. Amina, we found you another one. Come here, look. And the elf walks over and she's like, yes. And Amina's wearing these like dark
Amina's my favorite.
dark crimson robes. She's got a like a scarf of cloth of gold. And she has a bunch of like necklaces with like rune stones and stuff on them. And she's got like one of those witch's hats, like a pointy felt hat, and it's pushing down she's got long ass elf ears, right? So it's pushing her ears down, so her ears are just kind of sticking out sideways under the weight of the
I
hat.
love her so much.
And she comes over and she's like, I think she's wiping something off her robes, and she's like, "Grumbuk puked on me again." And then she looks at you, Malik, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'd shake your hand, but dwarf puke."
Don't worry. Let me get that for you.
And the whole time the two of you were talking, Lauren is like nodding, like, "Yes, wizard friends. Yes."
It's the worst kind of
I
guy.
should mention as well that as much as Dave is facepalming and thinking this is hilarious, I wrote down a god that I worship at the very beginning of this game,
Mm-hmm.
Is it Lathander?
Atar,
That's
which is our word, Lathander. So I worship him as well.
Yes. So, yeah,
So I turned to
Lathander.
him,
Lathander.
and
I
I
think
picked
the
that
deal
one.
with Atar is that Atar is an absorbed variation of Amanatar, which is the old god of the sun. But yes, yeah, you would be aware of the connection.
Yeah, so I whip out my similar thing, and I'm just like, here is my holy symbol.
Yeah, and Lawrence looks at it, and then he says, "That'll be enough, Amina," and like pushes her away. And she's like, "Okay," and like walks away. And Lauren looks at you, and he says, "A fellow member of the faithful." He looks at it. "Praise him, praise Lathander." And he like gives you a big hug and like pats you on the back, like and he's just like shouting excitedly about meeting another member of his faith.
Yeah, no, I'll give him a hug. I'm just like, whatever. Let's just go all in on this.
And of course, the very not least, of course, of our party.
And I like gesture very upwards.
Yeah.
And say, "Little Fox." And then I don't give her like any titles or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like,
and this person.
And he looks at you and says, "Little, not from where I'm standing. You're very strong looking. And what, pray tell, Ishi, what sort of a creature is this?"
She's a furbolg.
And the little fox is like not paying attention to any of this and just like unloading the.
and she's like,
She's a furbolg, and she hits things really, really hard.
A good
she's
skill
nice.
to have in these dangerous jungles. You've surrounded yourself with stalwart companions, Ishi.
Oh yes, stalwart indeed.
He looks around at the camp, and like everyone but him is like a little waterlogged. And he says, "You have met our wizardess, mistress of the arcane, Amina Moonstar." And she's like, "That's not my last name. He just calls me that. I don't I don't know. I can't control him. I'm sorry.
Just racist. It's
yeah,
fine.
she's just like, and he says, and over there, servant to Moradin, god of the dwarves, that is Grumbuck the Grim, who is currently losing his rations into the mud. And he shakes his head and he says, Grumbuck doesn't like the boat, but it's the fastest way to travel. We've been
Neither does
arguing about it
Arcturus.
for weeks.
No, I think swimming would be faster.
And,
Well, of course you think that.
and he turns and he says, swimming? In these rivers? Well, I suppose if you weren't entirely immune to diseases like some of us were, yes, that would be dangerous. But as you can see, I'm not equipped for it. Though, back at the academy, I was quite the swimmer. On the team, you know, won some medals.
So, your name is Sir Lauren?
He nods. Yes, Sir Lauren. I belonged to a noble house once, but cast away my fortunes in service of Lathander. We've come to this jungle in search of a terrible curse. Know you of it?
Which curse?
No, not a witch. A curse.
No.
Is there more than one curse?
He was saying, what kind of curse are you in search of?
Yes, of course. Though it wouldn't surprise me if there were witches in this jungle. You know, everywhere you look where there are bad magic things happening, you always find a witch. Don't you find that? You know, you get a quest and it's about some kind of dark magic and, oh, there it is at the end. It's a witch. What a shame. Whose idea was witches anyway? I bet it was Bane. That guy's not very nice. Sorry, you were saying about the curse?
Yes,
what type of curse?
What type of curse are you chasing?
Well, you know, the cursed sort. A bad proclamation or wicked magic. Someone's been naughty. And then now people just have forgotten how to die correctly.
The death curse.
Right.
Yes. We also have been looking after that.
Is that so? And what have you found? Know you the source of this terrible curse?
I look at everybody like, should I say? And then I realize I'm Ishi and I just say.
Yeah, actually, we know something. There's a city, like a lost city, like 1 billion miles that way.
I say pointing in probably the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Called Omu. And there's a snake guy there or something. We got the information from a snake thing anyway. Who's being real naughty about, like you said, about this curse.
And
you know?
you hear a groan from the dwarf, and he's like, "Did you say snakes?"
Yeah.
Oh, and he like just groan. Oh, and like turns back to like staring at the ground, trying not to throw up.
I guess I should have asked this a long time ago for myself, but is there like any like kind of healing that would keep you from feeling nauseated?
Probably not. You could maybe make, if someone had alchemy, you can make like fantasy gravel, probably.
Okay.
So he, Lauren says, so the city is the source of this death curse, this Omu.
No, not the city itself. That's just where the thing is that's
What
doing
sort
the
of a
death
thing?
curse. A person named Ross.
Yes, the dreaded Ross of which you spoke earlier.
Yeah, that one.
And
Yeah,
he turns to Amina and he's like, Amina, mark it in the quest log. We shall find and slay this Ross and his friends. And he turns back to you, Ishi, and says, know you any more of this Ross? Is he a red wizard, perhaps?
Damn it, Adam. No, it's not okay. It's not okay for you to make these jokes. Gotta stop.
No, I think he's snake person.
You know, as well and good as it is sharing our information with fellow adventurers who wish to also save the people of this land, I do think that we may be, no offense, sending some unequipped strangers to their deaths.
But he
I
seems so
laugh
nice and
in the face of
adventure-y.
death. I am blessed by Lathander, Lord of the Sun. I fear no death, for if I die in his service, he will welcome me into his afterlife, a radiant spirit. I have nothing to fear. And look at my brave companions. And you look over and Amina is sitting there like eating a chicken leg, and she looks over and she just waves like, "Hey, what's up?" And Grumbuck has gotten up and is like queasily kind of like getting his feet, and he waves. He's like, "Hello," and he turns back to you and he says, "I know no fear, though this jungle be wide and damp. I fear not its guardians, not this Ross, nor any other such demons that stand between me and my righteous quest. We
Oh,
will
hey,
best
I noticed
this
that
curse."
you're kind of human looking.
Yes, thank you for noticing. I am.
There's a lot of bugs in the swamp. You keep going up this way. If you don't have that salve, you're probably gonna need some.
Hey, he turns back and says, "Amina, how are the salve supplies?" And Amina's like, "We have lots of salve." And he turns back and says, "Yes, salves and ointments both. We are well prepared."
Good. What about you? Have you learned anything that you could tell us?
Yeah, he says, "Why, yes, Grumbuck, come here." And Grumbuck waddles over and he's like, "Hey, hello, I'm Grumbuck. I'm a cleric. I'm not feeling so hot. They put me on this boat every day. I get a wee bit sick."
Well,
So-
I think that yes, I feel exactly the same way, and I'm also a cleric, and I don't understand boats either.
And he says, I'd sooner be walking on the earth than traveling by boat, but as Shiny here says, it's an expedient method of travel. I just hope we run out of river soon. So,
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
yes, information. I do have something here. And he says, he looks at me and he's like, "Amina, where's that?" "Hey, that." And she passes him a book, and he opens it and he's flipping through it, and it's marked with like dwarven runes. And he says, "I got this off a friend, someone in Port Nyanzaru." And let me see
I
what he
read
can tell
Dwarven.
you. Let me see. He doesn't give it to you. He's reading something. He's using it as an opportunity. Let me find some information, and I'm gonna mark something on your map.
Okay.
So yeah, okay, here we go. So he says to you, "Know you of the great red dragon that flies about this place?
Oh, yes.
Aye.
I know of some of it. Yes.
Keep it together, wee kobold. The great red dragon that lives in the peaks of flame.
Ishi is trembling with excitement as this guy describes it as such.
Some time back did drive from their home some friends of mine, clanmates, a place called Hrackhammer. It lies to the south. Have you a map? Bring it to me."
I think Malik has a map.
I have a much better map than they have.
All right.
I made
So you
myself.
take out your map, and upon the map, down here in the Kobold Mountains, marketh Hrackhammer. Boop. So it's down. It's boop down there. So that's Hrackhammer, and he says 'twas a holdfast of my people, but now lies empty. Its treasure strewn about. And he sneers and he says, "I've been trying to convince them to go and check in on the place, see that it's still, sealed up. If he has a chance to visit Hrackhammer." And he nods. He says, "Steal nothing, or else." And he looks at you and he's like, excuse me, "I'll come after you. But now," and he looks at the map. He says, "Now you know where it is. So."
Thanks.
Guarded by the great lich strewn about.
Yeah, screwed about. Yeah. So he says to you, "Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get some sleep." And he like wanders over to where the hirelings have set up the tent. And before we end, because we gotta end right at 12, so we can't keep going with this silliness. So before we end, Malik, Sir Lauren has come over to you, and he says, "Brave Malik, guardian of your people, carrier of the sun's light into this dark jungle, I have for you a gift, a symbol of our cooperation." And he reaches out and he presses into your hand a gold disc with the smiling face of the sun upon it. and he says, "This is a token of my faith to you, a sign of our work together. That no matter where you go, there he is. Call upon Lathander in your darkest hour, and you will find his blessing upon you." So with this medal, the sunlight medal you've been given, you can use it once, and it will give you like a reroll on one roll, and then it loses its magic.
All right. I bow down in, and then I go out for the praise. Join him in the praise. He's going to join me too.
Hooray. And so the two of you, for maybe like slightly longer than feels comfortable, just like stare into the sky, arms held aloft, praising Lathander. And that'll be our episode for the week. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. We got 5 minutes to do the shoutouts before we give way to the mysteriously named Craft Hags. So Craft Hags is going to take over for us and run you some cool content. So stick around for them. In the meantime, real quick, like we did at the beginning, Ishi Snaggletooth, where can people find you between episodes?
People may find me at twitch.tv/distractedelf or on Twitter @distractedelf. I do lots of streaming. You'll find me, I swear.
Excellent. And you're going to be streaming later today, yeah?
Right after this, Monster Hunter.
Awesome. All right. Below, we have Andrew as Little Fox. Little Fox, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter @CommutingCrow or on twitch.tv/actualfactual.
Excellent. Next to Little Fox across the screen, Dave.
Yep, I'm Dave _the_human on Twitter and Dave _human on Twitch. Also gonna maybe do some streaming. Maybe some.
Cool. Keep an eye out for that. And then currently pinned by a grapple attack by the mighty warrior Bella, it's Blue Jay.
Hi, I'm Blue Jay. You can find me at twitch.tv/BlueJay or on Twitter @BlueJay_712. You can also find Bella in these places acting weird. And starting in February on Wednesdays, you'll be able to find me on Geek Space TV playing Stars Without Number. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm the dungeon master of this little charade. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Normally we broadcast Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, but this week I am away for a workshop on the weekend, so we decided to do it on Monday. We'll be back a week Friday with another episode, and hopefully you will come and visit us again. You can find me on Twitter @SkinnyGhost or twitch.tv/AdamKoble, where I host all of the other stuff that I do, so I'm not going to give you the list now. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. We'll be back next time with more. Bye for now. Stick around for Craft Hags. Bye, everybody.